Remain standing for a moment. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, everybody. Okay, number one, approval of agenda, additions, corrections. If not, so make a motion to approve. Approve. Someone second. Second. All in favor? Aye, opposed, motion carried. Approval of the bills from checks 18081 to 18123 and some electronics transfers of 56656 to 56674 and payroll. Any questions on that? Somebody make a motion, or is it, anybody want time to look them over?
I'll make a motion to approve. I just have one question on the revenue page that you gave us. Just one quick question. There was an interest in. Yeah, now. We're actually, we're negative 1,400. Here we go. I just don't know. The 4,000.
Interest earnings.
The interest earnings were negative 4,000. I'm just wondering how, where that can happen. If you would just check into that,
Yep, okay,
if you would. I don't
Yep.
expect you to know that right off the top of your head, but
sure.
you should check into it. Great. Anyway, I make a motion to approve.
Someone second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I oppose, motion carried. Sheriff's Department, 80 hours, domestic traffic stop, disturbance, theft, paper service, suspicion person. Any questions on that? Not, move on to Fire Department. 13 calls, 7 medical, 1 carbon monoxide alarm, gas leak, electrical fire, grass fire, vehicle fire, structure fire.
Wow. They're busy.
Yeah, they've been busy.
Street update, race.
So I got some quotes for the sidewalk out there. There's one more from MK Concrete that I didn't quite get on that in time, but. Oh, do you have that? And that one was pretty cool. They're all within. I think they're all within $1,000. That would be replacing from the city hall park to the community. And that helps it over the property line there. And the county will split half of that pie. Right.
Who was that quote from, Bruce?
The most recent one. There's one from WW, there's one from Clint Adams Concrete, there's one from Jim Schmidt Concrete, and then there's one from MK Concrete.
Here's the concrete one.
I got that one pretty last minute, so.
Oh, yeah, that one.
That's.
And this is for the sidewalk here?
Yep.
Seems like it's awful high, but I guess cement is very high price, huh? Is it
High
100, how
price.
much? 30 or 60 or $50 a yard, isn't it?
Oh, way more than that. What the heck?
Oh, it is?
No. We just had it delivered too, and I can't recall it right offhand.
Wow.
So,
I want to say it's like $200.
yeah, I think it's like 200 something.
Something.
Goes up.
Insane.
It seems like it goes up midsummer.
Yeah.
So
So is the one that the city or the county will cover half?
That's this one.
That's this one, okay. So if we. I don't know any of these companies, so I don't know who's better and who's not.
WW we've had, that's who just did all the work down there. They did the projects down there. Schmidt we had last year, he did the 2 sections of concrete. Clint Adams and heard about him on Mankato and MK. I think he's done work in for the city in the past.
Yeah, he's done work down there by the church,
Yeah.
by the school.
He did Trevor Kleino had a little bit of work done at his shop.
He does good work
He
too.
does work down there too.
Who was that?
That MK one that you got there. He does good work. This Main Street, Middle Street, is this some fixing or what?
That's in front of Jim Day's house where that patch is. Where it catches water.
Oh,
That'd
okay.
be,
I thought they had to correct that because they didn't get it done right the last time they did it.
that was between Ron and that was a conversation. I never got the details from Ron about what it was with that. But what's in front of you there would be doing similar what we did at the intersection by my house. Where they'd be taken back, cause that whole, if you look at that whole end by that stop sign, that road's all cracked apart there. And we nibbled it down and
But there's probably some more we're gonna wanna get done yet this year, right? Before are we gonna seal coat this year?
chose to put that off,
I thought we put it off too.
next year.
We put it off this year for this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was back
Yeah.
in February.
Yeah, I guess maybe we did because we figured we had to do a bunch more
Mm-hmm.
repairs, right?
Yes.
Yep.
You guys, you see that one, Scott, there from
Okay,
MK or?
Yeah, I looked at it.
we saw it.
Yeah, that one for 12,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you guys mentioned, they're all very close. Which
Yeah.
one would you say, Grace?
I mean. Matt Combs is on, MK is on work in the past for the city. Well, I've had experience with Jim Schmidt and WW, so I mean. I don't really think we can wrong with any of them. With Adams, I've never had anything with, but I've seen a lot of positive things said about him.
Right. Price wise for this piece right out here. The WW's at the 11,000. That's the best price.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine going with them for that
That
one.
one?
Or right out here on the.
Are they be able to do it right? Report them.
I'm not sure about,
$190 after tax.
for concrete.
Yeah, and that was a special deal. That was, I know you deal.
Yeah,
That was a buddy deal. So it's over $200 now.
I'm not sure about W. I mean, when they had to redo that approach down there, I mean, they were down here. I think I called Eric on, what day did we look at that, Wednesday or Thursday, or Tuesday?
Oh, they were here that following
Yeah, they're here a couple days. later.
Monday and got it out and reported again on Tuesday, I believe.
There might be some. good in there. But I guess I don't know timeline for.
Do we need, since we're gonna get a cement person in town, do we have other areas that need to be fixed?
Well, how about they
Well,
add for the building out of the pond?
so I got something from Joe Smith on that as well. We certainly could have them do that.
I mean, it was just.
Well, I mean, since they're in town.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
another thing to do.
Yeah, that would make sense to get everything rounded up and get it done.
Are we gonna have to get somebody to form that pad first or,
So
frame it and?
I talked to Joe Smith from Molten Mink last Friday about that. He sent an email over just kind of what, I don't know, is that in front of him?
No, it's
Oh.
not. It's in front of you.
So let's see, what he sent was just what Bolton and Mank, what they see as their responsibility for the project versus what they think the city's responsibility is. And for what they're saying is the 7x7 concrete slab would be included in what they're putting it out for quote, and it's not going out for bid, but it's going out for quotes, like they'll find a general contractor or someone that'll subcontract out all the rest of that stuff.
So they're gonna do that along with the electrical?
So the electrical is what they have for the city's responsibility. They'll get just the 7x7 pad with the dual wall tank, 1,000 gallon tank in there. Let's see, So what they have on here is a 7x7 slab. That's the 12-inch thick one.
Only 7x7?
That's only for the,
With
Just a
that's
shell.
only for the
Tank.
footprint for the tank.
for their tank sitting, yeah,
Anything Past that, they don't want.
okay.
So there's 7x7 slab, 1,000-gallon double wall tank, chemical feed pump and unistrut supports. Underground conduit and hose from the feed pump to the existing transfer station manhole. Core drilling into the existing transfer station manhole. And gravel surfacing from the concrete slab to the existing roadway. So what they have for us will be fixing the turf restoration, electrical work, anything we want to do with the fence and anything we want to do with the building or rain shield, anything like that.
They weren't gonna engineer the building, right?
No,
No,
no.
so in reality, if we had a building and that 7x7 spot where the tank was gonna sit, you wouldn't have to have any involvement, just tell the contractor, that's what we need, right?
I think so.
If we wanted with Bolton and Mink, from Bolton and Mink standpoint, all they are focused on is the 7x7.
Right.
If we want the building. and it
10x7.
Certainly makes sense to have them all do it at the same time.
Right,
Or 12x7, so you
Yeah.
have an open, big
Yeah.
door in the end, as you can come in with a forklift or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it would make sense that you would.
if you're wanting to add that into this, I don't know. I don't know about Clint Adams or. Or I don't know about Clint Adams or Matt Kump or WW, but I know Jim Schmidt does. I know he'll do poured walls. I don't know about the rest of them. I can certainly look into
it'd
that.
be pretty much a trench fill, wouldn't it? Just with the form on the top. Yeah, it wouldn't be formed walls, it'd just be a trench fill. And,
Just cross footings, yeah.
yep,
Well, there's the double wall tank for
the what?
Right.
for the chemical. The chemical's got to sit inside a concrete tank.
If it ever sprung a
Like
leak.
it does, yeah,
it's
it's
gotta
inside a
contain.
dual wall
Right.
tank.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
talking about the same thing.
I think we're talking about the same floor.
Same floor, but it's gotta have containment for the tank's gotta sit inside the containment.
Oh, I see what you're saying, curved up, so it can hold, okay.
Yeah, 1,000-gallon, it's basically gonna be a box that a 1,000-gallon tank will sit inside.
Yeah,
But then if you did that, you wouldn't be able to coat it in with like a Bobcat or whatever. If you had to change it out, you'd be sitting down in wall, you'd lift it out.
It'd be mini bulked out by, I can't think of the company that delivered Hawkins.
Hawkins,
I guess Brian said they can mini bulk off the truck right into the tank, so it wouldn't be, you wouldn't have to worry about switching out the.
it'd be
tank.
pumped in.
It'd be pumped.
Well, yeah, I mean that, but I mean, if you put a containment wall up so high around it,
Right,
you would never be able to remove that tank very easily, except
No.
if it's empty.
No.
If something happened to it.
Right.
And I mean, they would have that volume of how high that would have to be because it's only what, a 365
Oh,
gallon?
1,000.
Oh, is it a
Yeah,
1,000 gallon?
Bolton Mink has down here
I
1,000.
think they have 1,000, but I
Okay.
think you only have to contain half of it,
Yeah,
I believe,
Makes sense.
by rule, so.
I can certainly look into
did he put on their frost footings
for
in
the,
that there area? He
No.
just required that area for the tank, right?
yeah, they just have separate slab.
Well,
Cause they were saying that, I mean, obviously the whole building doesn't need to be 12 inches thick of
No.
concrete.
why can't, I would think that they would be able to provide us the spec for that 7x7 and we can give that to our concrete contractor and just go here, we want this and we want it, whatever, tell me,
Yeah,
10x12 or whatever,
sure.
So that quote doesn't include that shelter over the top of it either.
No, for what they have for the city's responsibility would be fixing the ground. Having an electrician come in and actually wire everything together.
Yeah,
Anything that we want to do with the fence as far as moving that around to gate, anything like that, and then the building / rain shield, so that's all the city at that point to figure out. They are just doing what. Their goal for this year is to just get the pumps operational by the fall discharge.
okay.
So that's,
But yeah, if they have an estimate that for the 7x7 pad or whatever,
so the way that Joe explained it to me is that they're basically they're gonna reach out to contractors that can do all of what, like, they'll put it together, kind of like what they did for that project. But instead of it going out for like actual official bid, it'd just be, they'd find someone that
It'd
can,
be as part of the concrete structure of the building, like Tom said.
Yeah.
You'd have, somebody's got to decide on what size building we're gonna have. And that end of it there where the tank sets has to meet this requirement. And that
yeah.
dike,
Did they say, I can't remember, was it 12 by 20 is that they had?
it was something like that,
I
wasn't it?
thought it was 12
Yeah,
by
yeah,
20.
it could be, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, 7 by 7, you figure out where that's gonna go and the rest of it can be,
Well, that night he said just off the top of his head, if they did the whole thing spec wise and
yeah,
yeah,
it'd be.
close to what, $150,000?
But I mean, if they just figure out, I mean,
We don't need that. We just need something.
yeah, I mean, I could certainly, and I did say, when we can take in and out whatever we want from them to. Like, they, just because they have this on this list for what, who's responsible for what, I mean. He said that if we wanted, because I asked him about the concrete, if he said we want to pull that out, we can pull that out and we can be responsible for all that. I mean, they can give us what,
I think that's what we should do.
Yeah, we
You know
we
what I
don't need
mean?
to pay an engineer.
Yeah, why do that? Have them ship us whatever it is that's necessary for that concrete pad for that tank, and then we'll just build around it, you know?
Yep,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I can certainly do them.
Cause I think a concrete contractor can probably tell us what we need.
yep. And. And then, I mean, is it gonna be up to the city to have that building placed where we want it? You know, that day we were down there,
Joe had
They had an idea, I think, where they.
so the piece of paper he gave, I wish I had that on it, but the piece of paper that he gave me or gave us was it was just all the layout that he had on there was just for fence purposes. It wasn't for I mean, however it fits up there, however we want to orientate it, I think is.
Well, I thought they had to have it in a certain place in order
Yeah,
to
he-
hit
I
the
mean-
power and, you know, to hit
Yeah.
everything, you know what I mean? So.
that's where they're bringing the power in off that pole, they were gonna bring it in but, you know, how about that idea where the, where the electrical box is here? And you know, I brought it up that can we build that ball right there or right behind it,
Yeah,
so we don't have to disturb all that?
yeah, that's what I thought was part of
Yeah,
the plan.
I think.
Yeah. Because, you know,
I think that's-
otherwise they wanted to put all new, everything, you know, well, if we built it behind the electrical panel right now, we could attach that to our wall and we don't have to disturb a lot of that.
Mhm, yeah,
Because it doesn't get a lot of use.
it's kind of a big thing, expense, you know.
Well, yeah, it would be a lot of expense to underground all that and have that panel moved, I mean.
Buy all that again.
Yep, buy it all again, there you go, yep. So, yeah, if they can get that spec, I think the best thing, like Tom says, we'll just include that in there. If we come to a conclusion, what size building and taking that person down there and show them this is where we want it. So when we end up in the walls there, that structure can be fastened to the new wall. And they'll have to tunnel under, they had to have, was it 1 or 2 more new conduits, was it?
I think it was 2.
And then they had to bring the power in on the southwest corner of the building, under the building and come up into that new
Yeah.
panel, right?
Yep.
Yep, because it wants that ball.
Yep,
This is a little bit farther down the line. We also have to figure out what Excel we're gonna want with that. If they're gonna want that pole, if we move the fence, because right now that pole is outside the fence, and if we move,
Oh, that's across the driveway though, right?
yeah,
That one, yep.
but it is important to get this running.
Yeah.
Up and running here soon, as we can. So we need to get what we need to get that pad. And then we can decide tonight who we want to have do this other concrete work in here as being the low bid or whatever. And then that contractor then would just get that added on, right? That makes
Can we-
sense?
We can do that, right?
I
Because
think so.
Yep.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean,
it only makes sense to do when you have one person in town with his equipment,
yeah,
you know, not have this one
Yeah,
do
that makes
this and that one do that.
Mhm.
You know, it don't make any sense.
right. 'Cause we're-
He does have on for getting it up and running, we just, this is here, he has for quotes being due on June 13th at 2 p.m. So that's what, for their project, what they're looking to price out, they're gonna plan on having that be done on June 13th. So, just for operational,
Yeah,
obviously I'll call them and we'll look at that concrete taken out of it.
Well, unless they can find somebody to do it. I mean, I don't know. I just don't see it happening.
I mean, these guys here, like Ray said, the way they came in, tore that out, had it fixed, well, then they had to do it over again. They did it fast.
And they did it over again fast too,
Yeah, so I
like the
mean,
next day.
but again, should a town our size, look at the smaller guys too? To consider everybody?
Well, isn't that more?
Pardon?
Isn't that a higher bid than that?
It is, yep, yep, yep. And the other ones we had were a little bit higher than this one too
Yeah.
also.
I think so.
These two are Mankato people and this is a this is a Mapleton person.
Yeah, 11.6 was it, 11.5? Yeah,
5. It wasn't the most expensive though, was it?
no, MK was the 12 grand.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, considering they, just as you described, since they were able to fix us up so fast over this last project they did, and they're the low. I would suggest that we choose them. I mean, just get it over with here.
WW. Yes, I agree.
We can do whatever we want.
would we tell them we accept this with additional work then when we notify them that they've gotten this job? And I mean, again, who's gonna have that spec for that? We do want a frost footing, right?
Well,
Well, but
coming from them, I mean, from the engineer. I mean,
But
they've already done it. We paid for that engineering, so.
for the engineering out of the pond, but if Bolton Mink is gonna get quotes, they're probably getting somebody to quote the 7x7 pad already.
Right.
So that's gonna be outside of, this little project here for the
Right,
sidewalk and.
But I thought that he said that they could take that out. They
We
could take that
we can pull out whatever we want.
Oh,
If
okay.
we wanted to figure out the stuff we wanted to figure out on our own to get the chemical feed pump, we could certainly do that.
Okay.
That's just an example. I don't want to do.
I mean, it's just the pad. It's just the
Yes.
cement work. Everything else they'll still do, It's
Well,
just the cement.
If that building is 20 by 12, it's only gonna be a portion of it.
Yeah,
That's a thick foot. The rest of it's only gonna be what,
Yeah.
5 inches?
yeah,
Yeah,
or less,
Or
or
less,
whatever
yeah.
they do. Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't. 4 would be plenty, yeah.
yeah.
We just have to figure out. We have to get from them where it needs to, where the 12-inch, where the
Yeah.
7x7 needs to sit. And
I would take it
Exactly.
would be on the east end of our building there because did we talk about a roll-up door
Yeah,
to get the
Yeah.
tote in and out?
yeah,
Yep.
yep.
And anything to replace it or whatever.
You need to be able to get an insulated roll, but we can deal with all that after the pads.
Yeah.
But it just seems to me that we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot to have someone else pour that 7x7.
Yep.
And then someone else comes in and tries to tie to all that, it could just be one nice pour.
Yep, yep. It's just dug out a little bit more. You're never gonna know it. So, I mean, if we award it to these guys and they want to come out within 3 days, are you around at all, Tom, to kind of explain, what we talked about down there?
If we know exactly where that pad's supposed
Yeah.
to be.
So for my theory, would we be still we'd basically get from Bolton and Mink where the 7x7 is gonna go, and then we'd figure out from that same contractor a price on the rest of or what else,
Yep.
the rest of what we're looking to do.
Yep.
Okay, because like you said, we already paid for the engineering on the 7x7.
Yeah, we might as well get that engineering. I mean,
Right,
our contractor can look at that engineering and go, okay, I'll build that here and then we'll just expand it here,
Yeah.
to
And
12 by
Bolton
20.
Mink has that info, because they're the one that advises on it anyway. What,
Yeah, you think
for
so.
the beyond the 7x7, where we need to put that cover, that shed, whatever. it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
They'll be advising us. I just don't want to engineer it.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So are we gonna make a motion to go with the WW blacktopping?
I think we should maybe wait with that one until we know if we got a bunch more to get done. We don't want them to come into town and then have to come back into July and August, right? Or,
Well, they wanted to get the pad going by June.
well, that's when quotes are.
you say the
That's when they're
blacktop?
not accepting
W
quotes.
blacktopping?
All they want to do is make sure that it's ready to go by the fall.
Oh, okay.
We still have plenty of time on that end. They just and they're not accepting any more quotes after June 13th.
The only thing is, are we gonna be in a rainy season where holding our water could be a problem for Brian, so the
Yep.
quicker we get this up
Yep.
and going
Yep.
and treating that,
Yep.
the better off we are.
That's why I'd like to make a decision tonight and get them on it and get them
Yep,
done. So
yep.
I can Bolton and make and get the tank out there and the pump and all that. Stuff.
I think Amy brought up about the blacktopping. I mean, the blacktopping, we don't really need to. Do we need to have this done? Or we gonna need other things done by the middle of the summer? Down there by the school at the end of that's all
Yeah.
busted up. I
Yeah.
mean, are we gonna dig some of that out, get it replaced while they're in town?
Yeah, there's something, is that, you're talking about where that water goes down over the hill?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's, something needs to be done there.
you know what should really be done there?
Yeah.
Is put a structure in
Yeah,
and catch it and run that pipe down and hook it into that big tile down below.
yeah.
Well, something should be done there because I think that's going to cost us money at some point in
Yep.
time.
I mean, we should have thought about that before, but again,
Yeah.
you can't think about all of it.
Right.
We could tear that cement up there, put a structure in, run that pipe
Yeah.
right down the hill and catch it all there. Because the one across the street from it there has not got enough tip on the gutter and that runs
It
across
just runs
too.
over. Yeah,
And then if that blacktop was replaced in front of that residence, we could put a little swale in it
yeah.
to hold it from running down over the hill, because if you get into wet season, yeah, like Tom says, there could be some issues there.
There's going to be, I mean, it's not if, it's when, so we might as well just
Yeah.
take the bull by the horn and fix it and be done with it.
So I mean, I guess,
But we don't want to wait though on that for some.
How long is this quote good for? Cause didn't you say concrete's gonna go up in?
well, this would be,
Well, concrete, I have no idea. At the bottom of the WW one, it says proposal may be withdrawn by us if not accepted within 30 days.
Oh, okay.
So with concrete, I mean, who knows? I think
I didn't know if we had to lock in for a good price or anything like that.
it's just. Yeah,
would we have race just, say we had a 12 by 20 building, cross footings. What, 8-inch wall? I suppose.
I would guess.
Trench board,
Yeah,
8-inch wall
yeah.
formed on the top.
Yeah.
And with that one end being a foot thick, the other end, what, 4 or 5 inches, whatever.
Yeah.
Would we ever want them to give us a quote on that before, or just add it to this one?
We can see.
What are you talking about?
I think too, then.
If we would want to get a quote from these guys for that, say, just for a figure, 12 by 20 floor slab, cross footing with a foot thick cement on the one end where the tank would be.
Okay.
Would we want to get a quote on that, or would we, like you said earlier, just put it as an add-on so we can get this moving and be done with it?
the only thing I'd be curious about is not everyone will do board walls. I don't know if WW does that or not. They might.
Well, it's just trench fill,
Well, but for the actual,
because you could trench fill it and just put a roll of block on top too.
Yeah,
but for
that's what
the,
I thought we'd do.
for the
Put a sill on
For the
it.
double wall tank,
Put it
though,
up.
that's. Cause if they're gonna be pouring, I'm assuming they pour that all together, that tank on top of the. For the chemical,
You mean the retainment
yeah, the containment,
containment area?
yeah, I
that'll
assume
be-
they pour that all together.
Yeah,
So we'd have to make sure that. Whoever we go with, if we're gonna have them do all that at once, if we're gonna include that with this, we need to make sure that they. That they will do, they can pour containment or they do
Think-
that type of work, cause not every concrete contractor will do that.
You think that that would be over a foot tall, that containment wall? 1,000 gallons? Like
I
you
don't know
said,
that.
only half of it? Because in reality, could you use a block wall then though? If you poured a
Probably
trench
not.
built and then a block, you couldn't use that block for the
But
containment.
I guess I was thinking the outside of the building would just be blocked and then a sill in the building. I
Yeah.
thought the containment would be inside of that yet.
So that'd be formed on top of the
Right,
pad.
right, right. That's what I thought. But then again, maybe we should get what we need from Bolton first, put it off a month and
Yeah,
find out from them and just go from that way. Cause we really don't know for sure what we're talking about, I guess. So.
And would we try to get that going and have an extra meeting so that if they came into town and did this work, that since they have some equipment here to try to cut down on costs,
We could.
you know?
We'd always have them hold, I mean, we can always accept someone too and have them hold off until we have the rest of it. I mean, obviously, we want to get this done as soon as possible, but we want to also be ready to do everything we want to do with this.
You have to understand that we want to get this up and going, so, and we just need the slab. The building can come 3 months from now. It's the slab that
Yeah.
we need, you know.
Is this your QZ, the guy you talked to?
Yep.
So like I say, would you be around, this week, Tom, if they come out, so you could, little direction?
I'll be around till Friday afternoon.
I can give him a call tomorrow and see. if
And
he
then
can-
I'll be
I'll
back.
send him a text right now and see if he can get down here sometime.
Cause we were down there that day with the engineers, right? You and I and
Mhm.
Race.
Yeah.
Okay, you weren't there, were you? No.
I think I was somewhere else.
No, that was just,
Somewhere.
yeah, you were in Mexico. That was just us three.
I'll be around till Friday and then next week I'm gone from Tuesday till middle of the following week.
Were you retired or something?
So we can choose a company though.
Yeah, we can accept this bid to get this done, but maybe with some additional, so again, they come in with, town with their equipment, they can do it all at once and not running back and forth, cause that costs us money.
Yeah, transportation is.
That would be the goal. To do it.
Well, somebody want to make a motion then to accept this bid for out here and put the Middle Street, Main Street on hold until we know if we got more this summer of blacktop repair?
I'll make that a motion.
Someone a second,
A second.
all in favor? Aye, opposed, motion carried.
And we made a motion last month to approve environmental dust control, right? So these two estimates just,
So I missed that meeting, so I just wanted to clarify that this is what we wanted to do. My understanding was getting chloride on all the same gravel road we did last year. And then with the exception being Graham Street would get the dust lock, which is what we put on the.
But I've seen that dust lock one and that's awful cheap, isn't it? I thought that,
That's only for, the dust lock one is only for Graham Street.
yeah, but thought that was a lot higher last year.
Well, he said that, cause they came out to take pictures of the. How it held up over the winter. And he said that, I think he said soybean pricing was going down. Which meant that the oil side was up, so it's gonna be cheaper that way.
But Jim, we pay them like 12, 13.
I thought we did nine or 11 or something like
Oh,
that,
yeah,
but that was also for. All of South Hall, I mean, every recycled blacktop road,
yeah.
it's all of South Halliday, that's all of Chapel Street. Woodland
yeah.
Street, Clear Drive.
that makes sense.
And I wonder, will this hold up that good on limestone versus the recycled blacktop? Cause that oil to me would reactivate the kind of the oils in the recycled.
I don't know.
I know they put it, I mean, I know they put it down on. Limestone all the time. I mean, they use it a lot for farmers. Or big concrete,
Well, I guess all we can do is try it, but when they're in town, make sure they do it where the sewer was just replaced.
yeah, oh yeah,
Get that redone, so it kind of holds that together. I see there is a few areas where
yeah.
garbage trucks are going that it is starting to squat out a little bit now.
I'd be curious to, I've been meaning to call them and ask them if there's a way that you can, if they can kind of like spot treat it, like in the places that we've had peel up, if it works that way, or if it's,
You can ask them, yeah, that'd be kind of handy.
because it would be, nice, I mean, where it held up pretty nice, but
Yep.
it was still sticky last year. There's a couple pieces that did end up pulling off. I'd be curious to see if that is something that they can do as well.
No, but I'm right, we did approve environmental dust control the last meeting, right?
I think so.
So we don't have to do.
We didn't know what it was gonna cost. did we?
Yeah, then for the one that has the chloride, you can, that last line item that they have, that 300 feet. That was a resident had brought up, doing the post office alley. That was the other thing I was meaning to tell you is that WW right now is hoping to pave that sometime mid to late summer. And with I think the paving contract is put in front of you. The reason why that's there is pretty much to clear up books on their end because we had half of it.
It's not in there.
So we have,
Was that the-
we pulled the paving out of, so last year we had the quote for the one half of the alley that was like 40 or something, including the paving, and then this year, the other half was 65, including the paving. What they did is they pulled the paving out to just clear up their books. So now we paid for the underground work that they had last year. The underground work this year is its own separate thing now, and then we have
All the blacktop.
all the blacktop on one contract. So it's for the entire alley. It's like 13,000, I think. for-
13,958.
Yep. So that's why that's in front of you is just, that was just to clear up things on their books, just to make it.
Okay, yeah.
Make a little bit more sense for them.
And again, if that's when they plan on doing it, that's when we want to have all of our other projects,
Yeah,
patches and whatever done at the same time, so.
so yeah, I mean, we can certainly, I did text Eric, he did say he'll be, it's a downtime this week, but he doesn't know what day yet, so.
I guess when you talk to them, tell them, chances are this will be waiting until they come to town along with others.
Yep.
So, yeah. That's pretty reasonable to do that alley back though. I wonder if it'll be settled out by then. Hopefully,
I was talking to,
they hauled gravel back in, right?
yeah, and they drove their deep foot roller.
Yeah.
I mean, they did the entire thing in lifts, and plus the rain that we've been getting is. Not that the tractor weighs that much compared to their lifts or whatever, but one of these last rains, I took a full bucket and put up in the air and just tried to. Drive down it to see if it would settle it anywhere, and it really didn't, so.
Proof roll.
Yeah,
How about the big rain event today? Everything take water, right then?
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it ran down really well.
Yeah.
So.
Good.
And then with I'm sure I've been on the same page as well, when they removed and replaced that approach that was too steep. The removal of the existing concrete that they just poured, that was all covered. They didn't get charged extra for that. Where we did get charged more was the additional chunks of sidewalk that we
Yeah,
chose to fix
Yeah.
at that point. So
Yeah.
just so that's on the record. We did not pay for that twice. We only paid for that once.
so now it's. With that, in addition, and the catch basin that we need down there and a pipe down the hill, would we also get a quote from them to do that? You don't have to run an 8-inch main or pipe down there to handle that water, but it would be underground and. Was that a 30-inch pipe or 24-inch down here that was put in down?
Where are you talking about?
Down by, where the old fertilizer plant used to be, that used to be an open creek.
Okay.
And Dean Ulrich filled that in, right? He put that pipe in there and that's either a 24 or a
It's a
30-inch tile. It's a very big one.
pretty good sized time.
And so, they could run a pipe down that hill, because that is our right of way, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
That is our right of way, and we could take all that water and put it underground, so it's not going on other people's properties, because that's what's happening now.
Yeah.
But there'd have to have part of that radius removed, put structure in there. Again, that's gonna cost you probably what, 20 grand
oh, yeah.
at least, just guessing.
Where would that tie, does that tie in down to?
Down the hill there's a big pipe. Starts
Oh,
at
yes.
this end
Yep,
and it runs all the way down to the Chapel Street.
yeah.
To that, yeah.
I was gonna
By
say
the
that
pipeline in there.
culvert on,
There.
that runs underneath Chapel Street, the top of that culvert, that plastic is.
Yeah,
West playground.
that got hit somewhere along the year, it got kind of wounded there, but it doesn't
Yeah, I don't know if it really.
bother anything. So I mean, is that something we want them to give us a quote on?
Absolutely. I think we should. No, we actually do have that right away.
Yeah, I'm down to, yes,
We actually have it. You never know.
yes, we have it down to,
It's right here,
Yeah, okay.
right there, but it don't show it in here.
no, what we have goes down to.
And,
right here is where the line is.
yeah, the line should be right here. in
Yeah,
this
right
dark
here.
area.
So what we have is from here to here.
But we really haven't.
That is my
Before
knowledge.
we start.
That's my understanding.
I mean, it's not on here,
It's
so.
not on here, no, that's right.
I mean, we've run into this before. I mean,
According to Beacon, we have it, because I've looked at that. So.
we're talking about the,
Well, that's Willard Street.
they wanted to bake.
Is it on here?
yeah, that's the one they wanted big, yeah.
The only thing is, there is a part of that, one of the buildings, I don't think the current resident built it, but there is
On,
on
you know,
Willard Street, on that,
I think that map is outdated. There's a shed there. There's a shed on that map that isn't there anymore.
but there's still, I think,
There is one that it touches the outer edge and there's a pretty big tree. So,
Well, I think we better make sure that we have that positively locked down before we
Yes.
start constructing anything in there.
yeah,
I was always told that that's the street, and then we've
Yeah, so
got a
you can
right of
see
way,
right-
but.
Right there.
right here, this is the continuation of the street down to here.
oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
in there.
There's I think this building right here no longer, or maybe
yeah, there's one that
there's
goes,
two buildings here. One of them just touches there's somewhere over here and then another's gone now. And there's a decent sized tree right there.
is there any, underground sewer, or it won't be sewer, I would guess,
So
but
I'm sure,
storm sewer that goes through there currently?
not through here. Right now what the water does is it runs down here and then it runs around this corner and just kind of this way, and then a lot of water doesn't go to either of these. There's a catch basin here and a catch basin here, and what it does is some of it goes to those and then a lot of it goes.
Here and then, right.
Yeah.
That's where you need, where Ray said his hand, that's where you need that,
Yeah,
Yeah, a little.
that ledge there,
water kinda.
to keep it,
yeah.
Or an actual curb.
yeah. And you know, I tried to call Mike Drummer there last week three times, never answered. I mean, if that project gets going, we need to do some work on that street there, you know? Would we run curb and gutter down there to keep that water on the east side from trenching in?
Well, that's
You-
what I was going to say, if you say you did a asphalt curb down to where the asphalt ends, I mean, you're kind of causing the same problem that you have here down here, because instead of all that water just spreading out as it goes down, it's just gonna hit that curb and.
That's why you're saying it should be caught in the structure.
Yeah,
Well, up on that, right there, yeah, it should be
Yeah.
caught there.
but anything that goes this way, if you're putting a curb there, I mean, you're stopping water from going here, but the blacktop ends right here, so all that water is just gonna hit here and then.
And
Do the
again,
same thing it does over here where it just trenches. So,
there is a pipe under the ground there on the east side, because that comes out down there at the ballpark, so
Yeah,
you
right.
could,
you could put one here or one or two here and run them over that way, but I don't.
yeah,
know.
you could catch it there too.
Mhm.
But boy, then you're gonna be up to $100,000 pretty soon.
Well, sounds like we should have that looked at by the engineer and give us all the grades and everything, because so we don't run into something like we did on.
Yeah, I think that one's gonna have to be a
We
project.
don't see those grades.
On that northeast corner there, that is so flat that the water hardly stays in the catch basin. It spills over the street
Yeah,
all the way because it just, there's not enough back slope on the gutter itself to keep it in there.
yeah.
And that's why it's important to keep the manholes clean there, because otherwise if it
Yeah.
gets plugged up a little bit, it's all coming across the road.
Right.
I don't know, maybe we should have this cat and have a little surveying done there so we can predict where that goes, because it sure sucked to go to all this trouble and just what Ray said.
Yeah.
You don't solve anything, you just extend the problem.
Make it worse.
Or you move the problem to a worse.
Yeah,
spot.
and that would not be good.
No.
Yeah, I think that one's gonna take.
Temporary, you put in some work in there, right?
Yep.
You know, if you were gonna run a new,
Well, I mean, it slows it down, but it's
That's,
not,
it just, it goes down.
yeah, I mean, it pushed a lot of those stakes over.
oh yeah,
And there's a lot of water, cause there's no catch basin all the way up here. All the water runs.
from Jim's
There's
corner.
yeah, there's a lot of water that runs. I mean, it's this entire half of the road that runs that way, plus anything there.
But you know, if you ran a new pipe from that down to that existing pipe, you could put a catch basin there in your blacktop apron and run it north,
Yeah, you can do that.
you know? You north or go to the east one way or another.
Well, I don't know, this kind of looks to me like maybe we should have that looked at by.
Yeah, we got a problem then.
Yeah, That could be an insurmountable kind of a thing. We should have somebody look at that and just
Yeah,
go, so we know where the grades are and all that. I'm afraid that we just may not see that, sitting here looking at this.
I think
And
it's worse.
by then, maybe you'll hear something from Drummer,
yeah, yeah.
we can get it all more tied together.
Wonder if a guy would ever add some blacktop over there in that northeast corner so it keeps it in the gutter too. You know? Make it a little higher there.
Hmm.
Again, the engineer could tell you that.
I mean, I think so. And there might be some different ideas there that I think they should take a look at that. I'll make a motion that they take a look at that. Give us some recommendations. That's a problem. We need to fix that.
Been there for 50 years.
A long time, yeah.
Tom made that a motion. Someone want to second that?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, motion carried. All right, boy, we got a lot of stuff done there next. You got all that, Sue?
It's just writing away.
Anything else?
Alrighty, so everybody's got, got it straight what we're gonna all do here in the next 30 days?
Everything else?
Yeah, I think you touched
I think-
on all of it.
We got all the water meters are installed, that's done. I have a training for that on the 21st, I think he said he's coming. He did a test read.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
He was in town, or he drove through town the other day and he did a test read and I think he said all but two of them read, but he didn't. He had to go back to his computer to figure out what was going on with those ones, so.
But they're all done,
Yeah, all the,
everyone.
Yeah, the last two are the apartments and that got finished up on Wednesday,
Wow,
so.
hard to believe.
And you have all the equipment for reading them already then, or?
We have
Or,
the antenna, we don't, they provide the tablet, he was gonna drop that off on. I think he came through Friday and I missed him, so, but he's got he's got it all ready to go, it's just getting it
okay,
together and operational.
Is there anything in our ordinances we have to change that we'll be billing monthly now versus quarterly?
Yeah, I think,
Well, hold on. The ordinance, yes,
Do we have to change
eventually,
that?
but we're not doing that right now.
right, we gotta,
So we're going to run some testing to make sure everything's good on the quarterly. And then we can revisit.
Maybe by the first of the year?
Yeah.
We're gonna have-
October, first of the year, somewhere around
I
there.
think we're gonna have to have an open meeting too, to get community input to see.
What the thoughts are?
Right. And
With the price
I
of
think I-
things going up. I mean, that's also, we were adding, and you had brought that up, John, that's another expense.
Right, yes.
Expense just in postage, I did 233 water bills last quarter,
So that's,
so,
so we're gonna add,
Where's that bulk rate?
no,
no,
In bulk?
no.
It's going up.
it's not bulk.
Get our own grader.
Those are their bills. It's not bulk mail. To get a bulk rate, you have to have, it's gotta be all the same.
Size and
Right,
shape
yeah.
and
So,
So hopefully, yeah, we can have a few meetings over the summer or fall and then by first of the year and
Yeah,
get it all done on your end.
mhm.
sounds good,
At least we have all the meters reading every gallon of water now,
right?
because there was
Yes.
what, 8, 10 of them that wasn't ever computed through the,
do we have to make a decision on what we're gonna do with those
Correct.
tonight or a different day?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
As long as we're talking about it, maybe we should talk about that
Yep.
now. Tiny, but anymore.
Well, they're not being, well. they're
No,
not
I mean, they
really
weren't-
behind, they were just weren't reading correctly.
Right, that's what I mean, but they weren't reading it
Yeah.
appropriately.
Correct. They were being charged for water, however, it was the minimum amount, so I don't know how you could figure out what the minimum amount is. For however many years or quarters, I don't even know.
I think that's gonna be one of them that are gonna start over.
I just, that's
There's
my
no
opinion
way.
too. Just start over. Not go back
Mhm.
and try to catch up with anything, just, this is the way it is now.
There's no way of calculating, probably ever figuring that out, so
No, I mean, we'll be able to put in some numbers, but
won't be 100% accurate.
no, because now like. Some of them, you look at it, it looks like they've used thousands of cubic feet. But they've been paying over the, so that's why I'm not sure how we're gonna do I have to talk to Banyan on exactly how we're gonna figure that average out
I agree,
for
start
those.
fresh.
But that's something that I'm gonna need
For the
council
new bill.
approval on before I can make any of those adjustments.
For the new bill. You're trying to figure out for the new, what to go.
Yes, because when we read it in July, we're gonna have part cubic feet, part gallons. So for those meters, what is there, 5, whatever there was, that don't have actually read correctly. The reading that we got is huge compared to what their original reading, their last reading was. So we're gonna have to have a partial bill for that, and then,
The adjustment's all gonna be done on the old system, right?
well, on the cubic feet, correct?
Right.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So like, 'cause my address is in one of those, so. I had mine done, April 4th, so I'm gonna have 3-4 days
So We're gonna have 4 days of,
but. The adjustment part is gonna be tricky.
yes, so what I think we're gonna end up having to do is take that, like your bill doesn't change. Minus all of that out, all of the contingency fee, you know, and all that, the service connections, and then divide that by however many days. And then add, like you said, like 5-6 days, and then figure it out that way.
Yeah.
Once it's up and running, you're just gonna have to zero them 5 out and
Well,
to get a starting point.
we have a starting point already, because everybody right now is at
Show
0.
everything behind
But
that.
everything
gonna have to
behind
just-
that. We're gonna have to, because there's like, you know, either that or we just wipe out 4 days that John didn't have to pay for water, or these residents, I should say.
Yeah, and I think from,
You're gonna have to do something to get it off.
But
the
then
book.
again, some of them didn't get their meters in right away either,
Well, there's,
or most of these right at that first week.
you have 220 of them were in the first week.
Yeah, but these are the
15
ones
of them
that,
were on May, what is it, May 1st?
yeah,
So 15 of them were on May 1st.
and I don't know which ones these were, which ones these came out. These are the 5. I think those were all within the first week.
and of those 5, I. Just kind of looking, I'm not knowing, I'm assuming they're all small users.
Yeah, one of them is a family, the other one is single or older couple. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So, I
most
mean-
of them that'd be that base minimum.
Right, yeah, I don't think there's a lot of usage on those, so.
Out with that one.
Mm,
Well, all those will have to be made. Like you say, on the cubic feet side, just to zero them out, whatever it takes to get them, so we can move forward.
So do we want to do these, do you want a motion tonight on these, or do you want to wait till June or till July when we actually have the billing? Probably no later than the June,
I won't know the billing though.
right? You won't,
I mean, unless I guess I can go in and try to figure it out for the next meeting and say, well, this is what. We could, you know, like I said, unless you want to just do a formula, I can do a formula and have it ready for the next meeting where we just divide
sure,
that base, was it 1225 is water?
Yeah.
Is that the base?
I don't remember.
So you're gonna divide that by 5 days, or however many days, or, you know, and then the sewer charges, whatever that is, divided by how many days.
That isn't much money.
I mean, you're looking at 15-20 bucks probably.
But we
at
can't,
best,
you
probably
just
like
can't
10.
give it away.
But I don't
think
think,
it's power.
I agree, I don't think just zeroing those out, I
Right.
don't think is a good idea either.
I-
Even if it is only $3 or whatever,
Right. Yeah. We should.
So-
correct
I will figure those out for the June meeting.
Okay,
That sounds like a deal.
Mhm.
that. And then, as long as we're talking about water and sewer and all that kind of stuff and rates. I was just thinking, you know, if we raised the minimum. Like $1 a month. $4 a quarter, $12 a year, $16 a year. And then raise the per gallon price for everybody. Then about 2 cents per gallon. that would give us like almost $15,000 a year extra to pay for the treating out at the pond. I realize we're talking on sewer, but it's all based on gallons, it's all
Gallons
based on
used,
water
yeah.
usage, you know what I mean?
What's delivered down there?
Yeah, yeah. Based on what Brian says, we pump about 1.2 million per month. You know, if we were, no, I'm not asking for a motion to raise it tonight. I'm just wanting you to think about it. That,
One of the guys that came, when we were first had the first meeting with DSG,
Yeah, Jeff Dale.
he used to work for who again?
He used to work for Rural Water.
Rural Water. He was talking to me in that first meeting, because I don't think you were there, but
He was going on a train.
he said he's more than happy to come out, and he has a way to look at it to make sure what we're charging as our minimum is accurate. And now that we're going to gallons, I told Sue I want to have him out so he can sit with him and her and I, so we can look at that.
good idea.
Just to make sure, because we may be, who knows, we may be like $3-4 under charging per quarter already. You know, but I would like for him, because whatever magic he can show to do that, and then we can look at,
Yep.
because I think next year we really do need to look at doing an increase. I mean,
I know we do. Yeah.
everything else has gone up. We know the cost of our water and sewer treatment has also gone up, so.
I mean, just that infrastructure out at the pond,
Mhm.
you know, alone, so you gotta pay for that over a number of years, whether that's 3 years or 5 years or whatever. You know, that way there, the water fund can pay that back,
Right,
you know,
right.
which is what somebody told us, Burkert, I guess, told us we should be thinking of doing, so
I think the Amboy city clerk told me that we're the cheapest around.
we are.
Yeah.
Our water rates are way lower than anybody else,
Yeah.
yes.
So then again, what's our water sales, farm water sales? I think we're at a nickel a gallon, right?
We are at a nickel now, right?
Yeah,
I
so I mean, does that have to also go up?
Yeah.
Because everybody said we were really high on that, but I don't think we are.
I don't think we're any too high on that.
No.
At the
But
clerk's
just-
training last
go
week, we were the
somewhere else.
lowest one,
Yeah.
For the 5 cents a gallon too.
5 cents a gallon. Some of them were astronomical, but yeah, majority of them were a lot more than that.
I mean, I would suggest that if we raise our residents 2 cents a gallon,
Yeah,
that should go
that's
up
gotta
2
go
cents a
too.
gallon too,
Yeah.
you know, no matter what.
That don't go through their sewer, but
Right.
still, we're providing treated water,
Service, Yeah, we're providing.
clean water,
It's a convenience charge. I mean,
Mhm.
and it's fast. You
right.
know, that one year there when we sold it for, what
Yeah, the
project?
road, yeah,
Yeah, it was what, $25,000 or $22,000 income,
yep.
you know,
Yeah.
but it was so convenient
Mhm,
because it was right here.
mhm.
Yeah, we had that KG constructions out there last year too, but I think they only got about $3,500 worth of water last
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah,
It doesn't amount to that much normally, but. I
Well, it can't be that bad if they're buying it.
Right,
and like when they get done with this road out here, there's whoever oversees that, they'll probably be back here getting water again.
I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. I would think you're right.
But we can't probably separate that and raise that now
Probably not.
till we,
I don't know where
Who
we're at.
who were you
Right.
who was gonna come out here and check with them?
It's one of the.
Jeff did.
Yeah,
Oh.
from DSG.
Oh.
But I know Sue's got her, because she's got to figure out all the billing and all that
Oh,
first, so it's
okay.
probably nothing
can
till
do it right now.
after July billing goes out, that
Would be after the training for sure.
Yep.
All right, that
anything
makes sense.
else then, Bryce?
I don't think so. Oh, the International is down in the Gardner Garage getting DOT'd. It needs a new fuel tank. He was guessing that it'd probably be 2,000 from, he said there's a tank in Illinois. I called Peterbilt in Mankato. Someone told me that someone there could find one. He found a tank from Illinois. I'm guessing it's probably the same one. He said it was 1,400 without, but that's not including shipping, so I'm sure it's the same tank, so it's probably gonna be.
Did you call International itself?
He said at International, he did call International, he said that tank was like, it was like 2,500 or 33,000.
There is a place in Illinois that makes them out of aluminum. Did anybody try Ziegler, Erickson and Jackson?
I didn't, but I mean, I can certainly call them.
It's an idea.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff sitting there and then, the other, Vanderhaeg's out of, Spencer, I know, and Des Moines and all over Vanderhaeg. Google them, they got more ability than Erickson does. Yeah. There was one thing else I was gonna bring up under you, now I can't, remember it. Well, we can move on then to water sewer update. Oh, I know what it was. Did you dye anything and find any water manholes that were higher than normal?
I did not. I mean, I put the tablets in, but I didn't see anything.
But it didn't ever get from a catch basin to our sanitary sewer to dye.
Not where I was looking. So the next time I got blue and I got green. The green shows up way more than the blue. So the ones that I put blue in last time, I'm gonna put green in. Hopefully we'll find something better that way. I have to believe that there's something down on the north end of, it's maybe north end of Halliday or Milky Street. So, I mean, we had that heavy rain the one day and the manholes that are gonna be included in this Bolton Mink project we're doing back there, it took 5 minutes for the water to make it from somewhere to the north down to that manhole, and it's not going through the ground in 5 minutes.
What I was wondering, if you could ever line up somebody with a camera. And say Wednesday, it's 100% rain. If they could come and video that. While we're getting all that I and see at what point 550 feet up there, we are getting that. Is that possible, I wonder?
I think the problem with that spot specifically is they don't want to put their camera up something. One, I don't know if they can because of how that, maybe after it's done, we could do that.
So we're getting it behind those houses, do you think?
It's,
Now you're talking up here?
yeah, no, yeah, where they're gonna be doing that project. So,
Over behind Sarah Carroll's.
yeah,
Right.
right, so, right here, there's a manhole right here.
Yep.
And the one day it pounded rain. And somewhere along here, I found they had to get some work done, so we just had a camera while I had that open, so. There's a 90 right here, and that's where the sewer ends, that's where the sanitary sewer ends up here, because we didn't know how far this went. So somewhere from here to here. There's a lot of water getting in because it took 5 minutes when it was pouring rain for it to make it from. Somewhere up here to down here, and you could hear it coming down the pipe. And it's not gonna, water didn't go through the ground that fast.
No.
How about all that northwest corner of town? My block and to the west there, did you see anything come up in the manholes there?
Well, I think by the one that we found by your house, there's no catch basins around there.
No?
So I think, yeah, but there, I mean, there's definitely, I sent a handful of videos to Jeff Domras because, I mean, I took the videos at was 10:30 on a Tuesday or Wednesday. I mean, there shouldn't be that many people home for the amount of water that was running through. I mean, Scott saw it. I mean, there's a lot of water running through.
That went up by,
And I mean, the dump pump report,
None of them.
none of them have sump pumps.
Yeah, cause it was,
it's right.
yeah, right here, there's a manhole right here. And it seems like somewhere up here, it's picking up more than it should. Because it's
flowing. heavy
yeah,
here, too.
it comes up heavy right here. So somewhere here it's picking up and then somewhere in here it's picking up some more. Same with up here, there's a manhole right here where it seems like it's coming out a lot more than it should, but then there's hardly anything coming from here. There's hardly anything coming from here. Hardly anything from. I don't know if this one has this. No, down here, there's hardly anything coming here. And then this way it's hard to tell because all the sanitary runs through here, so.
Okay, so here's a thought that I've thought about. At the end of your street, Scott, there's tile intakes, right? On the west end? I can't remember, did they do that on the end of my street? Is there tile intakes there? No, because I think there's tile behind that curb,
A field of.
you know, to drain the roadway. I believe in my street, when that west end got done, they put some tile in there.
Sure.
Where did they take it to? Because we didn't have storm sewer.
I know, I mean, I know there's a manhole right here. I looked at it, it's a dead end manhole, so you can't really tell what.
There's nothing there.
Yeah, there's-
Dead ended too.
Right, there's a manhole right here that's dead ended, and then there's one down here that's dead ended. You
Yeah.
can't see anything when you're
But
looking.
I mean,
Yeah, I know.
along the road there on Scott's, there's intakes on each
Yeah.
side of his road up there on the west end.
Sure,
But when it rains, it backs up,
yeah, that,
come way up, halfway up the street.
yeah.
But down on my street, which is what? This one going east and west, is there any intakes on the end of that field?
Not that I've seen, no.
Yeah,
Well, these ones have those
yeah,
yellow, whatever, drain cages around. I haven't seen anything like that down here.
because there is no storm sewer. Did they put some tile in behind the curb there on that new block and it dumps into the sanitary sewer because there is no storm sewer?
Do you remember, I don't remember if there was much, I mean, there wasn't much coming from this direction, I can tell you that, but as for this way, I mean. There's a lot coming out of here. Down here. Well, so this one kind of backed up this way, but part of me thinks that that's because there's so much coming out here that the water is just. There's more water coming from here, so it's starting to back up.
So you got it secluded to.
Yeah, there's-
Block area there, really.
There's more coming out here than there seems like there should, and there's more coming out from somewhere here and somewhere here. It seems like it picks up a lot somewhere in here, because this is a 90 and it just rips around that 90 and then it really pours out down here,
Yep,
so.
Here's my theory, for what it's worth. I've been thinking about this, you know, I know Brian's a lot smarter than I am, and he always says that blood contains a lot of phosphorus. And yet Bolton and Mank says we can't be sure that that is contributing that much to your phosphorus load. Okay, if you look up how much phosphorus is in beef, it's not that much. Compared to the loading we're getting out at the pond, and you look up, where does phosphorus come? Farmland, that's where it comes from. Well, I don't suppose we just actually have a tile from someplace out in there. I right into that's what I think's going on.
that's right. I think it's, well, of course, Race just ruled that out. That
But even-
cul-de-sac north of Scott's doesn't have that much water.
And there, yeah, and the last manhole on the west end of Shabbat, that's a 90. I mean, at 90s from that last block. I mean, so there, to Tom's point, I mean, there could certainly be something tied in
Up there.
up here.
Yep,
somewhere there
yep.
That could
That's
be
what I'm
going this
thinking,
way.
up there. Cause for some reason you got.
This field, there's a low spot and there's a.
There's a
Intake.
intake there. Where does that water go?
Well, that's supposed to come over here to the county road and run down right through here and go down that ditch. That
It
we're,
doesn't.
that's where it's supposed to, but when that was all developed, did somebody cut a field tile and just happen to throw it into our sanitary?
I mean, I was just really wonder. This all up, that's the major contributor to phosphorus in wastewater is farmland.
That's why I was wondering, can you get somebody like in that area, when you know, say Thursday it's gonna rain 100%, could you get somebody on call with a camera and come and televise that 2 block area and see where that amount of water is coming from?
Maybe worth a try, what the hey?
I think Empire, I mean, Empire has they have a camera that rides on top of another camera, so they can run one down, like if they're looking at like a private sewer line, say. They can run one down the main and then they have a camera mounted on the top of that one that can run up that lateral.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I was telling me.
Cool.
But can you get somebody that of that size on call for the day that it might rain? But that would sure be,
I mean, I'm sure if you schedule it, you just gotta.
you'd have to have one of them days where it says it's gonna rain 150%,
Yeah, you
you
need
know?
to make
That'd be
sure.
hard.
But it would sure be, now that you got it down to that area,
Yeah.
be worthwhile televising to see if there's any way possible that,
Figure that you have to go out in that field and dump in a couple of them tablets.
yeah,
And then it,
All that too.
yeah,
then it would show up.
I'd dye that water bright,
yep.
so there'd be no doubt.
It almost rule it out.
Right.
It, well,
but we're still getting it though. If the manhole goes up quick. Somewheres, we have cross connection.
I will say there's more water, there's certainly more water coming that on that, where we're gonna be doing that project to that field. I mean, that's our biggest problem is wherever that water's coming from, it's a lot. I mean, I'll show you, I have the videos, I can show it to you. I mean, it's a lot of water running through that. From the north.
Clear water.
Yeah, from the north somewhere. And you can, like I said, that day that it
roaring.
that day that it just hammered rain, I mean, I went down there, the second it started hammering, I ran down there and I pulled that off and you could literally hear it. You could hear it echoing down the pipe and then you just see the water level start rising more and more. So somewhere. I don't know if it's a house is tied in, I looked around it, downspouts, I didn't see anything, but I don't know if it's a house or something hooked up, something that's not supposed to be hooked up to, it's hooked up, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of water running down. So,
Well, when that project gets done there and on North Holiday, maybe.
yeah,
Hopefully.
once that's a straight run, they can probably set something up, but right now it's got too many curves coming out of that middle, they can't set
Yeah.
anything down.
Well, I guess we got a plan or a guide, you know, to go from.
Piece by
It is
piece.
important that we continue to work on it.
Yep. I mean. Everything we do as far as I and to make our lagoons better is a lot better in the eyes of the pollution control, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's gonna make a big difference on the project we've got in the works now, so.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see whatever field or whatever backs up when we fix that. Whoops, yeah,
That'll figure out a problem.
interesting to see what happens, you know, if it starts coming out the vent pipe of a house or.
All right, that was my last question for Race. Anybody else? If not, we can move on to Brian water and sewer update. Anybody have anything from Brian or not?
I emailed him, I never got a response.
Say that. That's.
Community comment? No community comment, unfinished.
Actually asked real quick about the food shop. So the city was gonna do a sign for us to basically put down the garage door. So people can look at the new stuff. And then we kind of talked about getting rid of that door, expanding. That's been put off for, I don't know how long, if we have a time frame for that, but if it is gonna be months, could we go back to at least having a sign made for that door out there?
How successful has it been lately?
It's
It's not,
It's not,
even though you post it with donations or somebody
I
posted.
don't post anything on Facebook regarding, very little. I just don't post on Facebook. Because you have with the food shelf. And you've shared it on there. Jackie was in here. I don't know, a couple weeks ago it was, when she was asking me about it. And her thought process was, if we're not getting any people here, she would talk to you and possibly maybe just close it and then bring the donations to Mapleton.
Those.
and.
But that was just,
That's fine. And just remind us too, when we did that before, we had the change in the city clerk. And then we don't want to do the food to the.
That's why I was just gonna bring up, we tried closing it before and we were the bad guys.
Yeah.
Well, just so everybody's aware too, I keep reading that St. John, as part of their long-range plan, is to take over the food shelf.
Oh,
So I don't know when that'll happen, but probably after a new pastor gets called. You know that,
Okay.
but I mean, that is part of their outreach for the community is to do the food shelf. How? No, don't know anything about it. I don't think anyone's thought that, but
you know who would said something from the church itself, I assume?
it would be the committee that's set up for the
Probably.
intentional interim pastor.
So the pastor search committee.
Well, it's more than just that, I mean, it's a whole process that they're going through.
Right.
And more than just calling a pastor, it's identifying a whole bunch of things, gonna take a couple of years, but that's part of that long-term hope is that they can take that over.
I can kind of reach out to them too and see.
Yeah. If you reach out to Sharon, I mean, she's involved in that. She's
Sharon,
Spec Edwards, yeah.
Where would they have that?
I don't know, and that's why I don't know if we
Yeah.
would take care of it here as it is or take care of it there.
Linda Burr would be a good one to, I actually work over that food shelf probably once every 2 months or yeah, probably about every 2 months. Cause the churches take turns.
Yep.
Doing it or whatever, and Linda Burr's from our church is the one that kind of is the one that reaches out to volunteers to go over there, so I can get you her number too.
so we want to put off the sign for now, is that what we're saying too?
I don't know why we can't put a sign on the door.
There's one on the red door, but it's a small one. I put that one up last year.
I mean. Foot
Is there a sign
traffic,
Prior? I don't think there's ever been a sign.
On the
How much a sign would do anything.
the red door, the little.
Yep.
There was, I can't remember what was there before. But I just.
That's
I
when it
put
was unlocked.
You know, enter through City Hall.
Yep.
But I don't remember what that said, and I think it was pretty sun faded, because that gets beat by the sun all day, especially in summer, or even winter times, so.
I mean, we even talked about, having something like a pop machine type of a cooler that warms it in the winter and cools it in the summer. Just like pop does, and have it outside, or something like that, but. That's not easy to do either, so.
well, when Sue sits here and there's no foot traffic. It's not getting utilized,
How does it work in Mapleton? I mean, they have to go to the back of the curling club? That's what it is.
The church.
The Lutheran church next to the Catholic church there. It's so Lowe's and Fisher, you're talking about?
Yeah.
Right across from Gardner's that they park there, and it's every Tuesday night, ain't it?
Yeah, Tuesday and Saturday.
Saturday.
Well, what's in the curling club? Or they just haul, I mean, that's where the garbage is for the loaves and fishes.
Really?
Is behind the curling club.
I don't know.
I didn't know.
I've seen them just use the church and stuff.
They have their own garbage and cardboard.
Yeah, it starts what, 3, 4 in the afternoon?
They dump every
Two,
week.
6, and then Saturdays 9 to noon.
is it pretty successful over there when you designate a day?
Very successful.
Is that what has to happen here? Designate a day?
I wonder. I mean,
Well,
But see, they
those
also-
food shelves they get a lot of food though.
They get
They
food
get
and milk.
donated, I mean, they buy
Channel.
a large amount of food at a very minimal price. Where that's run by an organization. This is
Community.
basically
Donation?
a community closet type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
kind of a
Where there's
free-
no regulations on it either, which is kind of concerning when you think about it.
Anything that's perishable, yes, it would be. Yep.
Well, it's, yeah. So,
I was just wondering how that does work, because, if, like you say, I mean, if it's gonna take actually. Food truck will be open, if that would open eyes of people that would like to participate in
Well,
it.
let me say it to this way, if you got federal funding like they do, grants and stuff. And you had the food here, and you had days like Saturdays where churches could staff it, if you had that same setup here, you would get way more food. I mean, if you look at who's coming to that food
We
shelf.
have
over
Good Thunder
there,
clients.
there are people coming for.
Amboy, Good Thunder, yeah.
So you just, again, I hate to say it this way, but if you build it, they'll come. So if you have a lot of good free stuff, obviously people are gonna come to.
Then we go back to who's gonna, because nobody's breaking down the door to volunteer right now, so.
Yeah.
You know,
It's hard to find
and
volunteers.
a city sponsored food shelf, I'm not so sure that's a good idea.
We are only one that is a city sponsored, right?
Well, this isn't I don't know if it's actually city sponsored.
Well, it's in our
And I mean,
facility.
there's been discussion on how it started and the use of it and the sponsorship of it, so I'm not gonna get into that, but.
Logistically too, if you build it into something big, I mean, we're on the corner of a busy county road with a lot of semis, and if you have a bunch of people coming.
Yeah.
I mean, where are they,
It's true.
how many cars can you fit in this parking lot before
Mhm.
you're running cars down both sides of the street?
And that's where the church, if they would get that up and going sometime here in the future, that has enough parking down there to accommodate all that.
Yeah,
the Loaves and Fishes has, I don't know, like 10 churches, and they have a hard time getting.
volunteers.
Right.
Yeah, there's, you're
Right.
not gonna get the volunteer base to actually do anything other than what's going on right now.
Yeah,
And you could build it up, but I don't think with Mapleton doing such a great job for how many years they've been. I don't know that you could add another Mapleton that this close
Mm-mm.
and fill a need that's, right, you said it that way.
All you're gonna do is take away from there.
Right.
Or they're
And
going,
that's,
yeah,
and I hate to say this, but and I won't rat on anybody, but there are some concerns with them. If we do become a larger food shelf, how it's gonna impact their funding
Mhm.
and their ability to get stuff.
That's it
Why
too.
would we do that? You know, it doesn't.
Right.
doesn't make sense.
Right. There is some truth to it. You're right.
Well, right now, Jackie Griffith, she's the only one doing anything in there, right? No-
Tom comes in,
Oh, yeah,
Tim,
Tim,
Tom, whatever it is.
I understand. Yeah, there's just the two of us.
yeah, okay.
My wife did come in and help the last big donation.
Do you have set up hour or
No, it's just open when it is. So technically, people have more access to this than they do, except if, you know, people work and they can't come during the day, that would be the exception. And obviously Saturdays are big for Loaves and Fishes because most people are off and they can come in and get stuff.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you set it up on the media a little bit better, because it might be, people confused, like, who do I talk to? Like, you know, if it's a confusing thing, then people just skip it. Where at Loaves and Fishes, they know exactly what's going on, you know. But you'd have to have somebody running a media site almost to get it.
But like Tim said too, I mean, you're limited to what you have. I mean, they're getting a lot of good items here where, I hate to say it, but a lot of times like we get stuff that either people find in the back of their,
Well, I hate to say it too, but like in
Yeah.
Mapleton, they don't want the home donation people. The home
Right.
donation people are donating stuff they don't want. Which means,
if someone
Or
moves
it's gonna
out,
be
they're looking.
expired in 2
Yeah, I
years.
mean,
That's right.
yeah,
That has been a lot of the donations we've got,
I mean, it's.
people that are moving and
they might be donating from stuff they've gotten from Loaves and Fishes because we've had that problem too, where like the canned goods that we've give, like people try to give them to somebody else. You know, they come for the good stuff, but we give them a supplement, which they don't really want. So that ends up circulating through
Mhm. Yep,
food shelves too, but
Yeah,
could you ever leave the red door open
no,
during the day?
no.
No?
With the one person office, no, I think that's a safety concern. I mean, and then what happens if like Sue gets called off or something and somebody comes in and finds out they can,
Well, we'd have to have this locked.
right?
Well, what if it is?
And normally it is, but no,
A double lock.
no, no. It-
No. Can't trust them even if you had a camera in there and
That's a
you
huge-
watch every move.
watch it.
yeah.
Well, it'd be saved
Yeah,
if something happened
Well, yeah, after the fact.
after the fact,
Yeah.
yes.
but no, I think it just causes,
Got cameras at the ball field and they still damage stuff.
Yeah.
What happened?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Cameras down there.
Mhm.
They still do it.
Well, it's here during business hours. For now, I think that's all we can do.
That's all we can.
That's all we can do.
That's all we can
So,
do.
all right, thanks, Tim, for that. Nobody else, unfinished business, personnel policy updates?
So a couple months ago, we had, actually, it's been, I don't know, it's been quite a while. We had Sheila from COG going over our personnel file, our personnel policy. And I have that copy and council needs to look at it. I don't know how you want me, it's quite thick. So I don't know how you guys want to do it. If you just want to have a personnel meeting and go over it to make sure that's what you want.
I think that's what we should do, in my opinion. Rather than tie it into another
But
night.
yes,
anyway, so like how many pages? Is it something we can get a hard copy first so we can
Look at it.
review it before we meet?
I can email it to y'all. Be easier.
So it's big, is what.
It's fairly large. Yeah,
100 sheets.
it's quite that much.
Well, that's not too bad.
It's not too bad, but I didn't want to make a bunch of copies until you guys decided what you wanted to do with it.
I like them kind of computers.
That does not come in email files like that.
Has there been a lot of changes?
Looks like.
There's some, but I
Yeah.
also think there needs to be some
The reds are
discussion.
the highlights.
Looks like it.
Yeah, because I know,
Everything that's red's new was
Yeah.
updated.
Well, if it's proper, go ahead and email it to me.
Okay.
You know, if that's okay with,
I mean, I can email it and make copies, it doesn't really matter. But I think you guys need to address it sooner than later. I know when we had our audits, they were asking for the updated personnel, and I said, when I get it done, I'll get it to you.
Oh.
So,
or maybe if it's easier for everybody, do you like email stuff to you?
I don't mind email.
I can do it either
Either
way,
way.
I can,
Don't email it to that city account. I don't think that's available to me anymore.
I have to email it to your business or to your city council one. If I'm gonna email it to you, it has to go to the city council one.
Because I was told by the guy that was going to go through all this
Mhm.
for a lawsuit.
Mm-hmm,
He tried to get into that and he says it's all, doesn't.
Huh. maybe yours.
It's been so
because if you didn't
inactive for so
Use it,
long.
they just shut it down. That could be,
So I don't know,
So
could be.
all the stuff in red is what?
You know.
Updated.
No, that was other.
I thought he was trying to get into my personal, one. They did a true correction, trying to get into your city's email account. And he said,
Okay.
that's shut off. I guess
That's an addition. Sometimes they'll be.
I understand.
It very well could be that it just, I don't know how Outlook does it. If you don't use it for so long, they just
Yeah.
dissolve it. End it. Probably.
Oh, yeah, here. So here's what proposed. I mean, better just get copies then.
Yep. No, I can make copies and get them out to you.
That's what you have to do it on that.
Legal?
Yeah. Yep, according.
Yeah, for the most part. There's changes.
Stuff, everything needs to be done.
Somebody already updated it. They just want to.
Sheila
Council, public. email.
from COG, she's the,
Yeah, that is a public.
she's
Yep,
HR
yep.
for the city of Mankato.
And that computer I returned to you,
A COG representative, so she
That one.
helped us do reviews. when we had it.
never opened it up the whole time I had it.
So-
So your email probably doesn't work on that either.
Probably not, no.
That pertain to,
Anyway, tried it a couple times.
right, and that.
Yeah.
For all the all
Yeah.
local areas. that
Well,
are-
get it,
Uh-huh.
So you guys set the policy, set the date, you guys want to do that, and then I'll get you copies.
I'm gonna be a pain, so I'm gonna ask you to just kill a couple trees so I can have a hard copy. I don't like reading this much online.
Well,
It gives me a
I'll
headache.
just do hard copies. I'll just do 5 hard copies.
there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, and then
I got this funeral business to take care of coming up too, so I'll be out. Around the 3rd, 4th and 5th. You know. Otherwise, it's hit and miss between now and then, starting the end of the week here.
When Kennedy was available.
We've got 2 weeks left in May.
7.
Yeah, you guys can have the meeting without me. I don't really care, but
When are you, you're gonna be gone in May too?
yeah, I'm gonna be gone. I'm leaving the 17th. I won't be back until. Oh, jeepers, it looks like I won't be back until the 28th, 29th. Oops,
Okay, and then June, you said 3rd and 4th?
but June, it looks like I'll be around. The 3rd, 4th and 5th, it looks.
We could do something in, still in May, the 29th through the 31st. Right?
The-
do you really want to meet
Yeah.
on Friday?
Yep,
Oh, so the 29th or the 30th. Good point.
You also have to make a closed meeting.
I was thinking we could hopefully maybe kill two birds. Oh, no, but the
You wanna
Kennedys.
kill 2 birds with that, and he is available anytime this week after 5.
I am not available anymore this week
Okay.
after tonight.
Okay,
I'm available tomorrow, but not the rest of the week.
okay, so
Yeah.
then I'll get some dates, or you guys shoot me a couple dates that work for that then, and I will contact.
Okay, yeah, next week I'm good any day except for Tuesday, the 21st.
But then Tom is gone from the 17th to the,
say though, I mean, you could have a personnel meeting and decide that without me too, you know?
And I might,
yeah, but aren't you the head of the personnel
we
committee?
got enough help.
We can do to Kennedy without you.
Yeah,
But yeah, personnel is all 5, so y'all gotta be here.
right, but you know,
Yep.
it's like any other.
We all have to be here?
Yes,
Who's that?
all 5 of you.
So if we could do the personnel on Monday, June 3rd, then our regular meeting would be Monday, June 10th. Would that work for everybody?
June first,
3rd.
third, that's a Wednesday.
No, that's
Oh, I'm in July, sorry.
Monday.
Excuse me,
Let's go to June.
excuse me. Third is a Monday, yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that works for me.
Should work for me.
I know the 10th doesn't work for me anymore. I'm gonna have a little Rochester stay for a while.
Okay. That would sound good.
Nope. They said it'll be good. But they're gonna take part of my lung out.
Uh-huh.
That's what I heard.
Now, city council.
You only need one?
Huh?
You only need one?
Well, it's, you have 3 lobes on your right side and 2 on your left.
Yeah.
The cancer I had on my back, then radiated it in January, that's gone.
Yeah.
But that infected this one and it went,
Oh,
and it's, he says, look at it as a tree trunk from underneath. He says, your cancer's right here. You can't get at it unless you take that bottom lobe off.
oh,
And that's about that size.
Okay.
So that's gonna be a 2 or 3 day stay maybe.
Not bad.
So I'll be absent next month.
when are you going for that?
I have to be there on the 10th.
On the 10th, and you'll probably be gone that whole week then?
No, it's just 2 days or whatever, maybe 3, but who knows?
You still,
I said I'll give you 12 hours and I gotta go home.
you might be moving a little slow anyways after that.
So we want to do the 3rd for the personnel?
For the personnel meeting, what time?
That's Monday, 7 or 6?
6.
I prefer earlier than later. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do it at 5 o'clock and get it over with.
5:30. I don't know, can anybody else make it at 5?
I can make it.
Everybody else?
But we all have to be here that day or?
You guys do, we don't. It's personnel meeting, right? So then we don't need to be here. Does
June 3rd at 5 o'clock?
that's,
that work, Scott?
you know,
Okay, yep.
You're gonna have to like send out some sort of a reminder.
I will.
and then, right, yeah, Kennedy next week. I can, like I say, I can do any day but Tuesday.
But he's gone.
Well, we
We don't
can,
need, we don't
we,
necessarily need Tom for that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
otherwise we're gonna be pushing that in.
Okay.
Well, we can push it till after later June too, if you want, but
I
don't know if we
Well,
want-
it's up to you guys. I mean,
I don't think we want 3 meetings in June.
you sit on it. Well, can you do it the week of the 20th? That's next week.
Yeah, that's what I can do that except for the 21st. I'm not available
Okay.
the first.
Gone.
I ain't either.
I never know until Thursday of this week.
So does Monday or Wednesday next week work for anybody, everybody, nobody?
I can do Monday.
I'm gone all next
You
week.
can do Monday. Tom's out.
I can do Monday.
Okay,
I can do
Amy?
Monday.
Robert, can you? do
I-
Monday?
I don't know.
This is a closed meeting with Kennedy about the.
What day?
Or we could
Monday,
do
the 12th.
Wednesday, Monday or Wednesday. I can give a couple options to Kennedy to find out what works.
I can do the 20th or the 22nd myself, so
Yeah, I can too.
What day is the 20th? Monday?
Monday.
Monday and Wednesday next week.
Pick one of those 3. Give Kennedy both those.
Well,
days.
let's give them, yeah. a couple
Yeah, give them them
options.
2 days and
I'll figure it out, all right.
go from there.
Yeah,
Sounds
one
good.
second, okay.
And then I'm okay with 5 o'clock on that one too, if you want, or
He said after 5.
After
So probably 5:30.
5:30 is good. Yeah,
5:30. I'll set it for 5:30 and I'll see what Kennedy says.
okay,
I
perfect.
need a motion on the personnel meeting.
I'll make a motion to set the meeting to go with personnel policy June 3rd, 5 PM.
Second,
I second it.
all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Do we need one for the closed meeting too or not? Because it hasn't
I suppose we should have, shouldn't we?
Yeah, because,
tentatively.
yeah, tentative based on Kennedy. I'll make that motion too.
Someone to second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. I oppose, motion carried. Anything else under unfinished business? I have, maybe I can put this here, two things, streetlights that we asked Excel,
They were out putting up some more,
did they, well, were they?
yeah, they were
Couple
last,
weeks ago.
so they were out a couple weeks ago and they. Didn't put them all up and then they were back out last week
So
sometime.
they are working on it now then.
Yeah, there's just, they,
Are they confirming with you the ones we wanted or how?
I mean, they're going based off the map that we're.
Okay, all right.
I mean, they just, you tell them you want them and then they show up when they show up and they don't tell you anything and.
They probably just do it on.
Okay.
So, and they got one down at the end of the alley, here and here. They don't have one out in front of the Red Iron yet, or that one. Yeah.
They're doing up by the park that one day.
Yeah, I mean, they put a lot of them up. It's just.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
they just, like I said, they don't. You tell them you want them, you don't ever hear anything if that's okay or not, and then. Then they're here and they don't tell you and. all of
Another
them,
nice job, but
yeah, I got a handful of them out.
Good communication.
You can't talk to a person there, it just doesn't happen.
Okay, the other thing is, when the auditor was here about our investments, were we gonna change anything up and do things a little different yet? I mean, that's up to us to bring that up and get going on it, right?
I was gonna mention that, you know, that Old Dominion or whatever it is, that we gained
Oh, yeah. Old
13,000
National Uphill, whatever.
13,000 or something like that.
On that, investment thing?
Yeah, it's Old Dominion, I think, right?
Yeah,
Old National.
Old National,
Old National. Okay. Well,
one of this one, Tom?
yeah, if you figure that out, that's only like 0.8. 1.8% interest or something like that we gained there.
It's all still awful low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put this into,
let's see,
You can put-
5 point something
well, you can put it into the savings account
higher than that.
at Minstar. And you can get 3 with that kind of money.
Yeah.
Probably more with that.
Well, that's why, they said we need to do something, and we could break it up and we could put it into, so we always had money available. What did they call it?
Mhm.
Tiering.
Yeah.
Hearing, there you go. Yep. So I mean, again, we have to keep this alive and, invest our money where we can make the most of it.
Mhm.
You know, I would suggest that we even, and maybe Sue, you could just call down even to the Minstar Bank and just say, what would you do with this? What can you do with this kind of money for us?
A credit union, we talked about that, right?
Or, I mean, even the Minstar,
some of,
I think.
but put it into, they have that kind of vehicle though, that a
Yeah.
credit. And I can't remember.
some of this though is gonna be tied by whatever investment is tied up in Old Dominion, that it. Cause when we added last fall or whenever it was,
Mhm. We had
some of these are in like matured, like it's like a CD. So we've bought into a piece of investment.
Someone
that-
has stayed there for a while.
Right, like for 15 months. I think what we did with that, what we added, that was like a 15-month
I think so,
investment.
yeah.
You know,
So
if you made an appointment with somebody down there
Mhm.
and just walk in there with this document, just go, you'd also just like to have some guidance.
Mhm.
You know? Cause I was amazed. I always thought we didn't make anything in the savings account, we didn't make nothing.
What's come up?
But if you have, it's here by how much money you put in, so much for 50, so much for 75, so much for 100, so much for 200.
well,
It keeps climbing,
Mhm.
they're not definitely financial advisors with all the investments we have. Nobody reaches out until something's coming mature. They want something from us,
Right.
so.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and like you said, I mean, there is still a vehicle in 7 months, but I don't want to make it so burdensome on Sue that she's gotta have like a spreadsheet, okay, this is March and we gotta turn in 100
bank
grand
will
here
actually-
and
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
The
It
bank
could be complicated,
Yeah.
but
they won't, they'll just roll. it,
No, they'll,
By right, they have to notify you.
Well, okay, but still, if you.
because I get notified like a week or two ahead of time saying, hey, you got a note coming due and for
Yeah, a CD.
CD coming due. What do you want us to do?
But if you had 800 grand, you had that split up, 16 ways, you'd have all these coming all the time, and it was kind of cumbersome, I think, to try to keep track of. you know. And then what to do with it. Then you gotta have council approval to reinvest. I mean, you know, all these things whereas it just seems as though,
So is there
There's a
somebody that
better way.
watches the
But we-
investments right now?
pardon me,
Is there somebody that watches the investments like right now?
and
Any of the money, like any,
any bank,
Have a
any
financial
bank.
advisor per se that I'm aware of.
okay, that's what I was wondering.
Just the person that handles this. but
Yeah,
They never come out.
Because this is, yeah, they can't really play with this money like they do in your own personal account, you know, LPL will do it, but they can't put money in the vehicles that the city can invest in, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see.
So-
we're limited as to what we can invest in.
Oh,
Does the League of Minnesota Cities have any?
I can check.
Programs.
Yep, I can
I
check.
ask them if they got any programs that we
Yep.
can.
There you go, that's a good
invest money.
idea.
Or
That's
they,
even a
they
better
would
idea.
lead you
Yep,
the right direction, maybe.
That's even a better idea.
keep it legal.
Because
Thank
I don't understand why the city can't invest money in the Minnesota Board of Investments.
Right.
Like we do.
Yep,
Maybe we can. That's what the league would probably be able to tell us that.
yep, absolutely no idea. And that generates a very good yield in comparison to any.
But is that public money down there? Or is
It's
that the fire
not
department's
technically, it
money?
isn't.
No, so
Technically, it
this is
isn't, yeah.
public money.
Yeah,
That's the
You-
difference.
you would think though, Minnesota
Yeah.
Board of, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you would think it's
regulated.
governed by the state of Minnesota.
That's why I'm saying the League of Minnesota might direct us the right way.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great idea.
Good idea, give it a shot.
That's a great idea. I mean, it's gaining money. It's just that.
It's just not-
Would be better.
For the amount that's in it.
And then one other thing. I just didn't absorb everything the auditor was saying, something about what the fire department does. That we have to get that up to speed to qualify for, what was it again?
He needs that, the Relief Association needs to be audited by an actuary.
There you go.
An actuary, not another auditor.
Yeah.
Which I thought all these years we've been providing this information and I thought it would cover it.
Because until that's actually, until that Relief Association money is audited, we will never get a qualified
Right.
Right,
opinion. And with us not getting a qualified opinion, then if we ever get to the point where we are looking to go bonding, that can affect our credit rating.
Correct.
And if we do a $10 million project, we want the best credit rating we can get.
so going to an actuator,
That's my understanding. We would have-
There's not a whole
who
lot.
pays for that or how does that all happen?
The city, well,
It's, yeah, I think that
So
the city would have to find out from, I suppose, give us some names or give us some firms that does probably out of the cities
Okay,
yeah, they're
does
all out
this.
of the cities.
and how much they charge and the city would pay for it. And because it's all to the benefit of the city. There's no benefit to the Relief Association whatsoever.
no,
And maybe not even allowed to be paid for by the Relief Association because you got to do your own audit anyway in the Relief Association.
You know,
That's a whole, it's a different kind of. an
that's what
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. We do an audit every year.
Well,
You know.
but
well,
you have to jump that hoop and get to that
That's right.
actuary.
That's right. We gotta do it. Just take it bull by the horns. If you could get a hold of Burkhardt and ask him who we should contact for doing this on behalf of the city and just get
Okay.
this person to tell us what we gotta
Doesn't the
do.
fire department have to be on board with that, though? I thought there was something about that.
I think Greg could probably guide us on that too, because it seems like
The city is ahead of the fire department, really,
Correct, but not the
Just sit-
Relief Association.
not the relief association, but everything except for the relief should come through the city.
Yep.
So, would this affect us for if we were gonna, it sounded like it would affect us if we don't get this done for any grants for these projects we've.
It's possible. It's
Yeah.
possible because even though we know from the audit that the Relief Association has already done that they're solvent.
Yeah.
We know that, but it's not good enough for the state. So we have to have an actuary look at this who's been trained to look out in the future and decide whether or not these investments are good or bad or whatever. It's like an insurance person. They use actuaries to determine what your rates are.
The sad part is we gotta submit all that to prove to the state that we are.
I
So-
know, I understand that.
Yeah.
And it's
That has
always
nothing
done by
to do with this. This is a rule that
It's
they.
just another
Yeah.
entity that needs to be involved.
To collect another paycheck.
It's just nothing to do with nothing.
Yep.
It has to be done in order to satisfy
It's a guideline.
the guideline that's required,
Yep.
the requirement, satisfy the requirement by the state to look at this with an actuarial audit.
There might be a tie to our financials too, where the pension, I think will actually become incorporated then within the city's financials somehow.
Yeah.
Or it becomes a footnote at minimum.
Well,
Something, I don't remember.
Right. I mean, but yeah, all these years, I always thought that he was looking at that and just decided that don't put it in there. You know, he's got a copy, don't put it in there. Well, now, after this last explanation, I understand. It's a whole different document that he
Right.
wants to put in there.
Right.
The actuator, would they ever be looking at this? No,
No.
just
No,
that, just that
We
entity.
don't want them.
It's- This is only for our financials, but it's looking at the fire department, whatever the relief,
The
whatever it
Relief
is.
Association
Yeah.
in Sullivan,
Yeah.
or the number of people that
Yeah.
would retire probably and the payouts.
Yes.
Well, the theory is if something happened and we all got wiped out on one call, you have to have enough money in
Yeah.
that account
That's
to
right.
pay.
But if it does, you don't, the city has to back it
That's
up
right.
anyway, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why an actuary to look at that and determine whether or not these investments truly will have enough power to carry that into the future.
So we need to get buzzing on that.
Yes, we do.
So they gotta do that every year?
I don't
I
know
would
that.
think so.
But I don't know either.
Probably, I don't know.
It would be a yearly review, just like anything
And
else,
what did he say, it's $5,000?
I suppose.
Greg, didn't he say something like $5,000 or something? I don't remember.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
It was a lot of
Yeah, it
money.
was a lot.
Additional 68 times 2 right now.
So it's just something that was brought to our attention
Ethan, me.
that we need to keep working on and move forward, because
14 grand.
sometimes we let stuff slip. We can't do that. We
Yeah.
gotta get it done.
This is truly just a city thing.
But if they do an actuary every year, maybe we don't have to.
And maybe there will be some of yours you don't have.
you know,
So do we need a motion to have Sue pursue this?
No, it's,
No.
you know, looking into it.
Action item, I'm just-
Informational?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I got one other thing, and I'll put that under news business, because we're still unfinished yet, aren't we?
Yes.
Anybody else with unfinished? Nobody? New business? The ladies downtown were wondering about like for $350 for flowers for their Main Street decorations. Is that something
So move. Take it out of advertising.
Second,
Tom made it?
I'll second.
John second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. That's all I had under new. Anybody else?
And we'll do the same as last year. I think it was Paulette. She bought them and she just submitted receipts for reimbursement. That's all we did last year.
Miscellaneous? Dilapidated properties? The letters, rental properties, and Brian mileage. Parking reimbursement. Dilapidated properties, you guys, did you and John go out and take pictures or?
We took a few. Yeah, I didn't go into big depth yet, but, no, the dilapidated properties is a whole other question.
Well, there's like different, there's like the ones you guys did, like the nuisance, they have miscellaneous
That's your property.
stuff in the yard. Yeah, that's the property. Dilapidated buildings, that was that blue one on. Wood
There's
Street
the
is-
two on South Hubble that are.
There are a couple.
That, yeah,
There's,
and they're becoming a hazard.
well, we got the one on Main too. People keep asking me.
Yeah, when is,
What's gonna
the
get-
guy's got we need to send that individual
Yes.
letter and say you need to cite it, you need to.
Yeah, I've done that, and they were supposed to come back in for a new building permit. I have not seen or heard anything.
Okay.
But that's one of those things that we need to figure out how you guys want to proceed with that, and we'll
Cedar,
kind of do it in like sections, like do the buildings, you know what I mean?
There was some conversation, Chris, I think you had
Yes.
regarding all that.
Yep,
I
yep.
can't find that in the thing here right now, but I think we did.
Where they come into town and it's one of the first buildings coming up the hill.
Well, right.
Good luck on that one.
Thank you.
So is the one right when you come into town.
Do what?
So is that one right when you come into town?
That would be one of them, yeah.
But that one is actually living, somebody's living in there, and that's another thing. You've got some people that are living in properties that,
Shouldn't be.
yeah, with no running water, no utilities. And no running water and sewer.
Cause it says no part of an exterior surface shall have deterioration, holes, breaks, gaps, loose or rotting boards or timber,
Correct.
which.
The problem is, what is the follow through
At what cost?
and at what cost?
Because you can go to Mapleton and the property they cleaned up. Because of, that was what, last summer? They cleaned up that guy's property, and stored them.
And they had to store it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
They had to start the personal.
Yep. But you should be able, could you put that back on their taxes though?
That I don't know
You
about.
would think so.
I would think you could.
I think they did.
They-
Every window, exterior door and hatchway shall be substantially tight and shall be kept in repair. So that would be the one on Main Street if it doesn't have windows.
Correct.
Actually, the one with the
Home stuff that they got stapled on.
inside has been off.
yeah, now it's starting to blow off.
That I
It's
noticed.
heavy winds, so
Okay,
people are complaining.
Mm-hmm.
well, people can complain, but unless it's a nuisance within the city, I mean,
Well, if it blows off and it blows in somebody else's yard, the insulation board or whatever, then it could be a nuisance, And again,
been over
it's
3
been in
years.
this state for what,
plus.
2 years, 3 years? It just needs to move on to another,
Or so.
stage.
or sold, yes.
Yeah. Fine.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean, the one down below the hill coming into town. How
mean,
would you
that-
handle that?
That, I mean, you can check almost all of these.
Yeah, but can you get anything done?
Right next to Dick.
Well, like you said with the Mapleton one, if you have to pay for the storage and stuff, but if you can get the
That's
money
our-
back, then it's worth it.
There's, this one right here is falling apart. And then this one right here is falling
Oh, the
apart.
one,
This one's like pink and white and then this
the
one.
banker's old house.
The banker's old house ain't as bad as the other one.
Yeah, this one is really, Ron and I walked around and took pictures of this last year and this is.
That's one,
The squirrels have been
Yeah.
taken and gotten into that
I
one.
mean, that house is not, I mean, it's not much,
that one,
it's better, but it's not.
Do they keep the taxes current?
From my understanding,
Yeah, taxes are current.
Here,
Yeah.
banker's old house.
Yeah, that used to be a very nice house.
Yeah, they keep up on the taxes.
But again,
Yes.
is it falling to disarray on the outside that we have to send them a strict letter saying this is what's got to be done?
I think,
since we have Kennedy coming to go over the
Oh.
code mark,
yep,
do you want, we could, because we're gonna need legal advice on any action we take on these, I think.
Oh, yeah.
The garage
We-
caved in.
Do we want to postpone it and have this conversation with Kennedy when we meet with them the 20th or 22nd?
I think that Chris needs to understand from council that we're directing him to develop the method, whatever it is, to make the progress on these properties.
yeah,
But I mean,
right.
so
We want
311 is,
on what we can do and can't do. We
Right.
want to be able to make
We
decisions.
want to make it happen.
Well,
Yeah.
do we have pictures of them available? So when he's here, we can show
I'll
him?
get pictures.
we'll get that.
I can get pictures.
Okay.
tomorrow.
so, but like 311, that's an abandoned property. Nobody's living there.
Yeah.
These three are all, they're occupied.
Right, right,
Right?
So that adds a
So-
whole different level of.
right.
Occupied versus unoccupied.
Right.
Then we'd have to compensate the property owners.
Yes, yeah, I think it might be easier just to have that conversation with Chris, even though you won't be here, Tom,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I think whenever we can. But.
And if we need to-
Action should be from council that we want to move on
Mhm.
this property and whatever, this one and this one.
I know they always have to keep it fair if you do one thing for one property, but then like if we have direction, like, is it 50%? You know, bad or 75% bad, or, you know, what percentage, so we can make a determination of who is fair and who's not, because if one board's missing off of one house, yeah, I mean, probably like 70% of the houses in town, you know, whatever. But I mean, like, coverage, if we can make some determination on if the house is like 25% bad, then you get a letter, or, you know what I mean? What part of the surface coverage is bad?
Right.
Good
That,
point.
that we can make the decision then without, you know, having to always consult.
They need some teeth behind some of this.
Well, we need, yeah, with something that there's gonna, a lot of,
They need a reason to actually do it outside of just seeing a piece of.
well,
paper
and then they get
Right
they
over.
could be charged with a nuisance or a misdemeanor or something is what our ordinance says. A lot of it is,
$300 fine or 30 days
And
in
I-
jail, you never get any jail.
and they're not gonna go to court anyways.
No.
So when I was at that institute, a lot of them did putting charges on their taxes. If you had, say, a building that your property is falling apart, like some of these here, you're getting a X amount of dollars assessed to your property taxes. And if you don't clean it up, you're getting X amount of dollars a year until it's cleaned up. And some of these are fairly heavy. I mean, it's not like a $20-$30 assessment.
Well,
It's
that's
like
what it needs to be.
$400 or $500 assessment.
with
Some of
teeth.
these,
Yeah,
for a lot of them,
Yeah,
some
like-
of them had a $350 assessment to their taxes for unkept yards.
That would be a very good one.
So,
No.
I mean, those are things that maybe
You know, like
we
a-
need to read
like
the
a repeater
ordinances.
on anything too, like a repeater, like if
Repeat
if you
offender.
have, yeah, if you have someone that you do something one, you send them a letter one year. And they push it off and then they get to the next year, is there a way that you can add like a?
Should be able to.
Or double the fine,
Yeah.
so double
Yeah.
the, double the
Well, and you
penalty.
should get an X amount of, it's, you have 15 days. Or you're getting assessment. You know,
Even,
We probably have good ideas, but Chris will say he can't do any of it.
Well, but either way, we're gonna need legal advice on
Right.
it, on it anyway, so. So I think it's best we just hold on,
Why take care of our house?
talk about it next week.
Happens to the rest of them, so.
Because we don't want voted.
but now what about the property letters? You guys did do some properties. Do you want me to send those out? It doesn't need to be a motion by council, it just needs to be a direction.
Well, these utility billing issues here, do we have to, take care of some of this here?
That's, we already talked about.
We already did that.
Well, some of those are different though. We talked the utility billing, we talked about with meters. These ones were being billed incorrectly.
Yeah, for garbage and that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we said we, I thought we were,
First one, we're gonna have to deal with, but that one we're gonna end up having to,
Reimburse?
well, we're gonna have to. We overcharged them.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to pay that back.
Reimburse them, yes.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep, we're
that's
gonna have
only-
to reimburse it. Whether or not interest, I'll have to talk to Chris on that one. The other two are just more of an FYI of things that I found. Those have been fixed.
They have been,
They have been.
so they're checked off. then.
Yep, those have been fixed. It was just kind of
Good,
an FYI thing.
good. So anyway, the property owners that we want to send letters to, do you have a list of?
I have the pictures over there.
Oh, I mean, the address, all I need is the address.
The address, I do not have the address. I ran out of time last week.
Are we
Before I left.
talking 3 or 5,
How many did
6?
you guys do? 5 or 6?
10, no, it was less than 10.
Yeah.
I mean,
My only concern is, I think we need to do it all. Sending out, I mean, I think if we're gonna attack, like I said, if we're gonna do junk in yards. We need to go through the whole town and do the junk in yards
Yep, absolutely.
and not just, and it's not that we're picking, it's just, it's very daunting, I'm sure, to drive around and go, okay, yep, we need, you know. But I think there's a lot more than that. So I just don't want to send out a letter and go, well, I got it, but this person didn't have a problem.
And then they're gonna go, what implements junk in the yard?
Well, here we go, right back up. the
Well,
same-
it goes right back to vehicles
right
and
back to the
yards.
Same old
You
conversation,
can't have a
nothing gets
vehicle
done.
with a
That's right.
motor sitting in the middle of your yard,
Yeah, if we have a check off list. That can't be there, that can't be there.
you know?
What part were you just saying, Sue?
You can't have a motorized vehicle sitting in your front yard.
Has to be on a
That's not
designated.
tabbed,
parking
that's not licensed or anything. You can't just have it as a decoration
Lawn
or
ornament.
Yeah, how
lawn
about,
ornament.
how about a decoration lawn ornament motorized sitting in the front yard?
I think according to the ordinances of Good Thunder, that is not, that's a violation.
Yeah, because I mean, it really doesn't represent anything.
No.
Well, I guess my feeling is you have to start someplace.
Yep,
And we've started with the most complained about, most egregious properties that we know of.
okay,
So let's just move with those,
okay, that makes sense.
you know? And then if one of those people brings another property owner's address to us and says, well, that isn't fair, well, we can go, look at that one and go, you know, you're right.
That's where the bar is.
Yeah.
Yep,
It's pretty
But
high.
these are the most egregious, most complained about
Mhm.
properties that we so know.
correct.
Make sense?
Now there's a reason, which
Yeah.
will suffice everybody. So,
And then how about weeds and bull thistles in the fences? I mean, that's noxious weeds. Of course, then you get to Good Thunder. Dandelion is noxious weed, right?
I don't know,
I believe it is a noxious weed and we need to spray the ballpark. We need to spray all of our city properties to knock them down. And I mean, that would take a matter of an hour or two and have it all done. And we can't, we gotta lead by example, right? That's how that thing goes.
yep,
There's a city park and I see it the other day down the ballpark, man, we got a lot of them and
They're with the rain this spring, man, they're all over my yard.
They're in my yard too.
does that?
you got 2,4-D? Does the sprayer work?
Yeah, I'm gonna go through it sometime this week and make sure everything's good on it, but
So I guess I'd give them a good dose in the morning or something and
No, dandelions are not considered a noxious weed.
they are not? I thought they
didn't
used
think
to
they
be.
were.
They're just-
Oh, really? Do we want them growing and taking over the grass and?
Well, they're baby moms after all. They're so pretty.
So-
No, we should spray them.
yeah.
For like you said, you just run around and get it all done and
Maybe.
just be sure you use 2,4-D.
Holding out or something.
Like Ronnie did that one year. Yeah.
People pick them and,
Probably that's
well,
just an
yeah,
article in the paper about it.
yep.
Herbal.
Mhm.
Okay, so we are on property letters. We're gonna send them out then, as stated.
Yep.
And the rental properties, we have to start that. It's a yearly thing to have them inspected, right? Or supposed to be?
I think it's every 2 years.
Semi-annually, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know they weren't done, well, I shouldn't say I know, I didn't find any record of them being done last year, so I'm pretty sure they all.
We're due.
This year.
I can guarantee that I did not do any,
Okay.
and
So are they all, do you know if they're all in the same cycle, like? I suppose.
Well, I think you'd
Well,
want them on the same
it
cycle.
would
You'd
make
never get
sense,
done.
as well, because I don't think there's any new rentals in town.
No.
For now, so, I will get those out, try to get them out there this month.
Here's ones just had theirs done within the last month or two.
They're what, oh,
Their
inspection?
You know,
Yeah, the Chapel, or the Chapel Street Apartment, we just had someone come through.
No, okay. So then they should already have those,
And Timberbrook did.
then they should already have their inspections, and then it should just be easy.
does the city have to, I was wondering if the city had to coordinate the inspection.
No,
but-
that's on the
That would
property
make-
owner.
Yeah, the property, yeah.
We just,
that would-
no, we get a
Copy of it.
copy of that.
Judge Schultz
inspection.
still doing it then?
But, well, I don't know.
He was the one who originally
Yeah,
did
he's
it.
the one that's the contact on the information I have.
Okay,
do we know where all the rental properties actually are in this town?
Well, there's a difference between a rental property and property that is owned by a relative. Somebody that lives in it. That's not rental property. So rental property is like yours is a rental property.
How many relative owned ones do you have?
Two
too?
that I know of,
I know them two you were talking
and
about.
then one I
Saying
think
a
is
relative lives in their house?
correct. So you buy a house and your son lives there. They don't have, that's not a rental. Even if they're paying rent. And I found that out because of Zori's house.
Chances are the same two are the ones with the nastiest yards. Just saying.
Cannot confirm nor deny.
Oh, my.
but they're not true family members.
Yes, they are. Something else too.
So that's how they got by with it.
Yepers,
So there's gotta be at least, what, a dozen?
Probably,
probably,
Yeah,
yeah.
between Frank, Spears and. I don't know.
But then we also, in our ordinance, it states that we have to have the name of the renters in the properties. So that I have not been able to find. I did talk to Maureen to try to get some information on it because she seemed like she knew it. And Amy knows a lot about it too, because you guys have rentals, so kind of reaching out to them to try to get some ideas on how that works.
well,
Yes,
one property was gonna get condemned when the individual moved out, then somebody kind of squatted and moved back in there, you know? What happens to that one? But
That's not a rental.
yeah.
That's not a rental house.
No, it's just,
well, yeah, I know, but somebody's living there.
Yep, but that would be under the dilapidated properties.
yeah,
That one is?
Yes,
Okay,
because there's no there's electricity, there's no running water or sewer
or garbage.
or garbage.
So that one we have to bring up to Kennedy.
So I will get a list together. Make sure that, I'm pretty sure the ones that I have on there, but I'll make sure I have a list together. And I can get them to Kennedy prior to, if you want me to as well.
I suppose, yeah.
Sounds good.
But yeah, I mean, do you have a list of the former property?
Yeah, I did find that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess, just, you'll have
And
to
I'm-
send a letter out to the owners, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
Yep.
Except for the ones that are related, we don't
correct. Nope,
really,
nope,
oh,
because they're not rental properties,
That's right.
so we don't have to. And also I found out. I should say, found out in the ordinance, it states that the rental property. The utilities have to stay in the owner's name, correct? So the owner if they want to collect it, whatever, but that bill goes to the owner of the property.
how do you ever find out if that's happening?
You just look up the utility bills.
Well, our utility bills, would
Correct.
that be all of them, like sewer or gas and
I don't care
electric?
about that.
If
I
they're
don't.
Just
relative,
ours?
Just ours.
Okay,
relative ones,
The relative, it's not a rental property. So they don't have to play by those rules.
So they can put it in
Most
tenant's
don't
name.
have it in the renter's name, the utilities.
I don't know.
If they never pay a thing, the owners,
The owners are still liable, yes, but in our, according to our ordinance, I'm pretty sure that's what it has to go to the landlord or to the owner of the property.
That's how it is in every other city.
Yep. And then, and we do have some that, they pay their own or it's in the landlord, but the renter pays it. I don't know if we actually have any that aren't.
you're talking Tilly's, like. sewer,
I'm talking
water.
about water and
Oh,
sewer
okay.
cities.
I thought you meant all of Tilly.
No, I'm just talking the
Oh,
city
yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
all right. We got enough done on rental properties. We move on to Brian's mileage and reimbursement parking fee. Where is that bill? I didn't see that.
I saw it, but
Should be in your,
Oh,
And do you want yours on there too, Sue?
yes, I've got some, if you want them, or you got, Robert's got them.
Oh, those are mine, but you can look at them.
somebody want to make a motion to pay Brian and Sue their travel expenses? One for Brian is 75.61, Sue's is 171.52.
And that's just mileage for both of them, right? Or parking on,
Parking on
Brian's
Brian,
mileage
yeah.
is just mine.
I'll make a motion to approve those two.
Someone second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Anything else then, people?
Just a quick, did we approve the minutes?
No,
Technically, no.
Okay.
We didn't,
You
did we?
guys always skip that.
I checked it off.
You like to rope it in with the bills.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the 8th and the 15th in there.
There you go. Was there any questions on those 2 minutes before we make the final? Anybody? If not, somebody second,
second,
all in favor? Aye, opposed, motion carried. If there's nothing else then.
We do have this limited liability coverage waiver again. For our insurance that needs to be signed. I don't know if you guys need to make a motion to,
On that paving contract too for the alley, because that's a new contract, that's the plan as well.
Oh, and then our FEMA letter? Just look at it.
it's up to, that was for you, if you wanted to address it. If you want to act on it, or if you don't, that's up to you.
You guys wanna read it over first? We call it a night?
Me and John, we looked at it. Did you think no?
Yeah, I don't think the city needs to take any action on it. There was a little blurb, let me find it.
Does it come well, we don't know. That comes as that only when there's
Availability?
availability, money available or whatever.
I don't know.
The city property owners will want to know about this opportunity to obtain insurance protection against losses from future floodings. So that's through FEMA. So I don't know, we probably just need to mention it in the minutes, I guess.
We should never, would that involve the city if we had a sewer backup and it flooded? Say we, like Amble, you know, there's been times over there where they pulled the manholes and pumped it out and let it run on top of the streets.
I don't think flood insurance covers that.
Yeah.
Don't think so?
I don't think
For a
so.
private,
I
I
don't,
know, so in Richland, the sanitary sewer was back
yeah,
up.
problem too.
It flows into the bowling alley.
Yep,
Trapper has never gotten any FEMA money for,
okay,
that's all, that's city damages, so this bowling alley has never gotten $1 from FEMA out of that.
there we
So,
go.
And I remember trying to
Homeowners gotta have their own insurance.
work with FEMA on a project in Colorado once, and it was a total nightmare,
Yep,
total nightmare.
just recognize that we looked at the letter and
put it in the minute.
put it in the minutes and probably good. Anybody with anything else then?
I got nothing.
All right, somebody make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Someone second? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Thanks, everybody.
That wasn't bad.
No.